Have you tried their never-ending pasta bowl? It never ends.
Olive Garden is a favorite restaurant for many, and not just because of the unlimited breadsticks. But did you know there are some crazy mysteries hidden behind those kitchen doors? Well, here are 10 astonishing secrets Olive Garden doesn't want you to know. The Olive Garden cooking school is a sham.
Welcome to Chef Neri's Kitchen in Italy, where she teaches Olive Garden chefs.
The Olive Garden has been known to boast about its authentic Italian cuisine. After all, the chefs get to travel to an exclusive training program at the Culinary Institute of Tuscany to brush up on their skills and learn the most authentic Italian cooking secrets. But apparently, the fact that the so-called school is in Tuscany might be the most authentically Italian part about it, and we really shouldn't be that surprised. The name, the Culinary Institute of Tuscany, is suspiciously English.
Blasphemer!
They definitely do send a handful of students to Tuscany every year, that part isn't a lie, but learning takes a back seat on this trip. They also don't own the location. It is a hotel with an attached restaurant that they rent during their off-season. Each year, a selection of managers, chefs, and other staff are chosen to attend. While there, they go to a few workshops, but spend most of their time sightseeing. Everything is paid for by the company, and they don't even have to claim it as holiday time. While there's nothing wrong with a company boasting that some employees get a free work trip to Tuscany every once in a while, it's a bit deceiving that they tout this as a training opportunity to claim authenticity at their restaurants. The unlimited breadsticks are given out in moderation.
You're gonna finish your endless bread basket right now.
We'd be lying if we said that breadsticks weren't one of the most delicious parts of the Olive Garden experience. Who doesn't want an endless supply of bread to soak up all that scrumptious sauce? You are greeted by freshly cooked, delectably garlic-salted bread from the second you arrive. And the best part is that you know it won't have to end until you leave. Though they will continue to deliver more throughout your meal, they won't exactly bring you a whole basket at a time. The restaurant might be nice, but they're not that generous. The first breadstick delivery will contain 1 stick per person plus 1 extra. Since there's more bread than people, this seems super generous. The second delivery will only have 1 per person, though, and if you want more, you'll have to finish what's on the table first.
Can we yeah!
Hopefully, you have an ambitious waiter if you want a lot of breadsticks. And don't think you can get away with only ordering breadsticks either. They're not allowed to drop off the second basket until you order. Really, they're not even supposed to give you the first basket until you've ordered, but not everywhere does that. Some places know there will be trouble if they try to hold back the golden sticks for too long. The pasta isn't cooked fresh.
I'll pay my check, walk straight into the kitchen, and shoot the cook.
Now this one's a real surprise. How can a restaurant whose specialty is pasta cheat while making it? They absolutely can, and they absolutely do. Instead of cooking the pasta when it's ordered, Olive Garden chefs pre-cook a ton of it in the morning until it's al dente. Then they immediately throw it on ice so it doesn't finish cooking through. When someone orders pasta, they just pop it in a pot of boiling water for a few minutes to finish it off. So really, it could be worse. At least it's partially cooked fresh. Who cares when it's doused in a deliciously creamy sauce anyways?
Nobody cares, man.
While it's obviously a slight time saver in the kitchen, it's hard to believe it makes a huge difference overall. They must have time to throw on a pot of spaghetti every once in a while, right? Unfortunately, this trick's not the only one up the Olive Garden's sleeve. At least their breadsticks are baked fresh, and that's what really matters. Olive Garden's rebrand didn't go as hoped.
Olive Garden, we're all family here.
In 2014, Olive Garden's popularity was waning, so they decided a rebrand was in order. They called it a brand renaissance because they wanted to entirely redefine what Olive Garden could be. The most significant change was a new logo. It went from being a rustic, Italian-inspired design to a stark, modern, cursive font logo. Somehow, by attempting to refine their logo and show more sophistication, they made it look cheaper, blander, and maybe just a little blah. Other than that, there were some new menu items and price changes, but it was just the same old Olive Garden for the most part.
The show goes on!
Unfortunately for Olive Garden, the unimpressive change did have an impressively immediate fallout. Overnight, their stocks dropped by 5%. Not too shabby for a company that thought they were making giant strides to change the public's perception of them. Maybe next time they'll try for a positive change instead of blindly believing that change for the sake of changing is a good thing. Many items are microwaved.
In the Olive Garden.
Because when you're there,
Your family.
Who knew that the secret to being a professional chef is knowing how to use a microwave? While not everything is microwaved, it is rumored that more things are microwaved at Olive Garden than they care to advertise. Because really, who wants to promote that they might not serve everything at the peak of freshness? For one, the desserts aren't made fresh, neither are the dipping sauces. For these, the microwave is the first choice reheating tool.
Disgusting.
How about the veggies and meat? Do we know for sure that all of the real food is made traditionally on the stovetop? Nope. Exactly what goes on in that kitchen is a well-kept secret, and they really don't want us to know. This can only mean one thing. They microwave more than you'd think, and they will never tell you about it. But is that really so bad? This is the Olive Garden, after all. And while there certainly are practical reasons to use a microwave in a professional kitchen, you can't help but feel cheated knowing that they could have just given you the whole meal in a ready-to-eat doggy bag as soon as you ordered it. Tried to dodge paying benefits by making staff part-time.
We were out at the Olive Garden for dinner, which was lovely.
The Olive Garden's secrets aren't all found in their food. Some of them are tied to their business practices. In 2012, just before Olive Garden would have to start paying full-time employees health insurance because of the Affordable Care Act, the owner had a brilliant idea. Why not have more part-time employees? Part-time employees weren't eligible for the same benefits as full-time employees, so the company could save a lot of money just by switching up its staffing practices. They first tried it out in a few areas as an experiment to see the response. Unsurprisingly, it wasn't a popular choice among the workers. What a surprise that people didn't like having their hours cut back and losing the prospect of potential health benefits in the process.
You sit down!
After a few months of dissatisfaction, the company agreed to not cut any current full-time staff below the 30-hour-a-week full-time threshold for the time being. They could instead encourage hiring new part-time employees when the time came. That way, they didn't have to break the bad news to any previously hired staff. Most restaurants have a high staff turnover rate anyways, and new hires won't be nearly as picky. Business 101: to keep employees happy, it's best to just change the rules for new hires instead of pulling the rug out from your current employees. They had a questionable tipping scheme.
You don't tip. What do you mean you don't tip?
Tipping has long been a highly contested aspect of the restaurant business. Why should a company have to fully pay their employees when the customers are literally handing them money? Obviously, messing with a waiter's tips is a touchy subject. The Olive Garden had a great idea to lower their daily expenses, though, and messing with tips is precisely what they did. In the US, staff who get tipped have a lower than usual minimum wage. So if more staff members get tips, fewer people have to get paid a full minimum wage. So why not somehow figure out how to get more staff declaring tips?
Waiting for tips. Who's going? Who's going first?
Obviously, splitting tips was the perfect solution. Olive Garden made a new rule that required tipped staff to share their tips with other team members, such as bussers and bartenders. With more staff members earning tips, the company could save a bundle in wages while also looking like the good guys. Isn't it good for these other positions to get a share of the tips too? It's incredible how some businesses have figured out how to pay people less and somehow still come out looking like the good guys. Most people saw right through this one, though. A good deal for everyone is only a good deal if everyone comes out ahead. The epic never-ending pasta pass was an epic failure.
You never have to pay for anything. Look at that.
Americans love never-ending anything and everything, and Olive Garden thought their next big success would be never-ending pasta. It paired perfectly with their never-ending breadsticks and never-ending smiles. The smiles brought on by never-ending pasta were not never-ending, though. Those smiles turned to headaches as soon as they found out this idea was a little better in theory than it was in practice. The pass was simple. For $100, a person could get 7 weeks of unlimited pasta. However, because scarcity is critical for special offers, only 1,000 customers would be able to get their hands on one of these magical coupons. Yippee! This promotion was perfect in 3 ways. It was for a limited time, the numbers were limited, and it was an incredible discount. The company forgot about one thing, though. It was a fantastic discount, and everyone wanted one. The deal went live at 3 p.m., and there were so many website visitors that they crashed the site before the passes even went on sale. Thankfully, they managed to get the site working again, but many customers still reported issues with the site crashing. Within the first 30 minutes of the promotion, there were about 500,000 visitors to the site. Now that's a lot of unhappy customers. The fettuccine alfredo is more weight than work.
That Alfredo really hit the spot.
He just said that about the meat sauce.
Different dish, different spot.
Some kitchen secrets are dodgy, but some are just plain offensive. For example, did you know that the Olive Garden fettuccine alfredo takes almost no time to make? Like less than a minute. So why does it cost so much? Apparently, this dish may taste like a luxury meal, but it's a pretty speedy creation in the kitchen. Just reheat the pasta, slap on some sauce, and you have a bona fide Italian delicacy. Delicioso! It's the perfect meal to accompany a game of Super Mario. But really, if something takes less than a minute to make, should it really cost that much more than fast food?
Fettuccine with Alfredo?
When you go to McDonald's, you at least have to wait for them to fry the burger. At the Garden, this dish is so fast that they usually try to slow down the order so it's not as obvious. Though you might be a little disappointed by the creative side of this dish, it's still not really an all-out flop. It's pretty hard to complain about warm, creamy, garlicky, carb-loaded deliciousness. Cooks don't cook pasta in salted water. This is the ultimate mind-blowingly sketchy thing about the Olive Garden's cooking. They break the golden rule of pasta every day. Everyone knows that pasta should always be cooked in salted water. It's the only way to perfectly season the pasta. But not at Olive Garden. Apparently, they got tired of the salt ruining their pots, so they decided that the best solution was to start cooking pasta in plain water. Is that even legal? So if you've ever questioned the pasta at Olive Garden, you're not wrong. The pasta has been cooked incorrectly, and anyone used to genuine Italian cooking would be absolutely mortified. Pasta should be cooked in salted water, always. And hey, even Martha Stewart says so. We're serving up more great videos. Just tap or click, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell to join our notification squad.